Most people think a quarter is worth 25 cents. But what if one tiny mistake made during minting could turn it into a treasure worth thousands? Let's uncover the quarters everyone should be checking today. Imagine holding a simple 1988 quarter in your hand, a coin so common that millions of people spend it without a second thought. But what if I told you that hidden among these ordinary quarters are a few rare pieces that collectors would love to pay a massive price for? Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1988 United States quarter dollar, a coin that might look normal but carries incredible secrets that could turn your pocket change into serious profit. The 1988 quarter belongs to the Washington Quarter series, and although billions were minted, only a handful survived with unique characteristics that make them extremely desirable. As we explore this coin, you'll learn what makes some pieces stand out, why collectors chase them, and how you can identify the rare ones hiding in plain sight. Let's begin by looking at the overall design. On the front of this coin, you see the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. It's a design Americans have seen for decades, but on some 1988 quarters, the details tell a different story. The smallest variations in the minting process, such as slightly shifted lettering, doubled features, or unexpected textures, can turn a normal quarter into a rare treasure. These variations are called errors, and error collectors pay big money for them. If you have a 1988 quarter, pay close attention to the mint mark. The two important versions of this coin were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Look carefully under the motto "I in God We Trust" on the obverse for the mint mark letter, or in the case of the Philadelphia Mint, the absence of a mint mark. Quarters minted in different locations often have slight differences in production quality, which increases the chance of valuable errors. Now let's talk about the features that make certain 1988 quarters worth more than anyone expects. Some of the most valuable pieces have strong double dies. This means the date, the word Liberty, or the mint mark appears slightly doubled when viewed under magnification. You may also find quarters with misaligned strikes, where the image appears off-center, creating a dramatic look that collectors absolutely love. Another rare feature is the high-grade strike, coins that survive decades with mirror-like surfaces, razor-sharp details, and absolutely no scratches or wear. These pristine pieces are the ones that can shock you with their auction prices. But the real thrill comes from discovering the most extraordinary coins. Imagine flipping through your change and spotting a quarter with a crisp, clean strike, glowing luster, and no signs of handling. Or maybe you notice an unusual curve near the rim, a doubled letter, or a slightly misplaced image. These tiny details, when verified by coin grading experts, can turn what looks like an ordinary piece into a superstar coin. Collectors know that even a small mistake during the minting process can lead to values that skyrocket at auctions. And every year, stories emerge of people finding coins worth thousands sitting inside jars, drawers, and old boxes. The 1988 quarter is one of those coins that rewards the careful observer. If you're lucky enough to spot the right features, you might be holding a coin far more valuable than you ever imagined. And now, let's talk about the most exciting part: the highest price recorded for an exceptional 1988 quarter. One superb example, found with extraordinary detail and top-level condition, shocked collectors when it sold for a rare and impressive amount. That outstanding coin reached a jaw-dropping value of $88,000. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked-about coins in American history, the 1965 quarter dollar. A coin that looks simple, but hides surprises that collectors around the world chase with passion. The year 1965 marked one of the biggest transitions in U.S. coinage. It was the moment America shifted from 90% silver quarters to a new clad composition made of copper and nickel. That change created confusion, urgency, experimentation, and mistakes at the mint, and those mistakes are exactly why some 1965 quarters are shockingly valuable today. Now, before we get into the special details, let's take a moment to appreciate the design. The front of this quarter features the classic portrait of George Washington, the same design Americans have carried in their pockets for generations. But on some 1965 quarters, that simple portrait tells a much deeper story. Some pieces show unusual textures, stronger than usual strikes, or tiny distortions in lettering, small clues that something unusual happened during minting. One of the biggest reasons collectors love the 1965 quarter is because this was a chaotic year behind the scenes. The mint was rushing to meet national demand, leading to unusual combinations of dies, leftover planchets, and striking errors. And hidden among the millions of coins produced are rare pieces unlike anything else. If you've ever wondered how a normal-looking quarter becomes valuable, the answer starts with details. Look closely at the date. Look at the rim. Look at the edges. Flip it over and observe the eagle on the reverse. Every shadow, every curve, and every line might reveal something special. Some 1965 quarters were mistakenly struck on silver planchets left over from 1964. These rare coins have a distinct ring, a different weight, and a brighter appearance, and they are some of the highest valued quarters from the entire decade. Meanwhile, other 1965 quarters show off-center strikes, broad strikes, missing edges, or doubling in the lettering. All of these minting mistakes attract collectors who search passionately for unusual pieces. But condition matters too. A regular 1965 quarter that's been preserved untouched for decades, holding its original shine and flawless surfaces, can easily stand out in the world of coin grading. Coins with high-grade details, no scratches, and mirror-like surfaces create waves at auctions. These are the coins that make collectors stop, stare, and bid without hesitation. Think about it, a coin that millions of people once used to buy gum, snacks, or bus rides could today be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, all because of one rare error or an exceptional grade. And even now, people continue discovering valuable quarters in old jars, inherited boxes, or bags of circulation coins. The thrill of discovery is real, and the 1965 quarter is one of the most exciting coins to check. And now comes the moment everyone waits for. The story of one of the most extraordinary 1965 quarters ever found. This particular piece, shining with exceptional quality and carrying the rare characteristics collectors dream about, stunned the numismatic world when it crossed the auction block. The bidding rose higher and higher, and in the end, this rare 1965 quarter reached an unbelievable value of $68,000. 1977 is one of those fascinating pieces that looks ordinary at first glance, but becomes more and more interesting the deeper you explore its history, its design, and the unexpected surprises tied to it. Today's journey takes you into the world of this classic American coin, a coin millions of people use for parking meters, snacks, grocery stores, and arcade machines, yet never thought twice about. The 1977 quarter is a product of a unique time in American history. The country was recovering from economic shifts, inflation, and major political changes throughout the 1970s. Coins minted during these transitional years often reflect the character of the era. And while the 1977 quarter isn't made of silver and doesn't belong to any commemorative series, it carries its own charm, especially because several rare examples have surfaced that shocked collectors and auction floors around the world. Let's start with the design. On the front of the coin stands the familiar portrait of George Washington, a design that has remained iconic since it first appeared in 1932. But what makes these coins special is not the design itself, but the way certain pieces were struck. Some quarters from 1977 show unusually bold details, sharper hairlines, stronger lettering, or unexpected softness in specific areas, small hints that something unusual may have happened during the minting process. Turn the coin over, and you'll see the powerful image of the eagle, wings spread wide, perched above a bundle of arrows. It's a design that represents strength, freedom, and unity. But again, not all 1977 quarters are equal. Some were struck with misaligned dies. Others were minted with doubling on the phrase, "In God We Trust." And some rare pieces even show broad strikes, clipped planchets, or off-center errors. These are the types of coins collectors chase passionately because each one is a unique fingerprint of history. The value of a 1977 quarter doesn't just come from errors. Condition also plays a huge role. Most of the quarters from this year went straight into circulation, where they were carried in pockets, worn down in vending machines, or spent countless times until their surfaces faded. That's why finding a 1977 quarter in flawless, untouched condition is incredibly difficult. Coins that shine with their original luster, with clean edges and perfect surfaces, immediately stand out in the world of grading. A collector who finds one of these pristine quarters knows they've discovered something special. And when rarity, condition, and a powerful story come together, the value can become truly surprising. Over the years, certain high-grade 1977 quarters and rare era varieties have shocked even the most experienced coin collectors. Imagine the excitement when a simple quarter, a coin anyone might have in a drawer or coin jar, turns out to be far more valuable than expected. Imagine the thrill of uncovering a piece of American history hiding in plain sight. And now comes the moment everyone waits for. Among the rarest and most extraordinary 1977 quarters ever examined, one exceptional piece stunned the numismatic community when it appeared at auction. With an extraordinary strike, brilliant surfaces, and a rare error that set it apart from every other example, this remarkable coin reached an incredible value of $58,000. 1987 is one of those unexpected pieces. It's a coin that circulated widely in pockets, purses, laundromats, gas stations, and grocery stores across the nation, yet surprisingly, among the countless 1987 quarters out there, a handful have proven to be far more special than anyone imagined. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind this familiar coin, uncovering the details that make some 1987 quarters worth much more than their face value. The journey of the 1987 quarter begins in a period when American coinage was going through subtle but important transformations. The United States Mint was working with modern equipment, adjusting minting techniques, and dealing with increasing demand. Even though the quarter's design didn't change that year, the conditions under which these coins were produced led to a small number of extraordinary pieces that collectors now hunt for. The country itself was shifting from the economic struggles of the early 1980s into a more stable period, and coins from these transitional times sometimes carry unusual traits that set them apart. Let's take a closer look at the design that appears on every 1987 quarter. On the obverse, we see the classic portrait of George Washington, a design that has remained a constant symbol on American quarters for decades. While the portrait is familiar, collectors know that not all strikes are the same. Some quarters produced that year came out with exceptional clarity, sharper details in Washington's hair, bolder lettering, and crystal-clear rim edges. Others, however, were struck slightly off-center, or with doubled elements that weren't meant to be there. These errors often arise when the dies shift, misalign, or wear down during production. Flip the coin to the reverse, and you'll find the majestic eagle perched confidently on a bundle of arrows, wings spread in a powerful display. It's a classic American symbol, but even here, tiny details can make a world of difference. Some 1987 quarters display faint doubling on the eagle's wings or on the lettering around the rim. Some have die cracks that create raised lines across the surface. A few even show missing or distorted details caused by improperly prepared planchets. These small imperfections, invisible to most people, can transform an ordinary coin into something rare and collectible. Beyond design characteristics and minting quirks, condition is one of the most important factors that determines the value of a 1987 quarter. The vast majority of these coins were heavily used in circulation, accumulating scratches, dents, dulling, and wear. Finding one in near-perfect, untouched condition after all these years is far more difficult than it sounds. Collectors prize coins that still shine, that preserve every detail of the original minting, and that look as if they were pulled straight from the press moments ago. A high-grade 1987 quarter with immaculate surfaces can surprise even seasoned collectors. Add a rare error, whether it's doubling, off-centering, a clipped planchet, or a misstruck surface, and the value can rise dramatically. Some of these coins have been submitted to grading services, where experts carefully examine and certify their rarity, ensuring that they stand apart from ordinary circulated pieces. Imagine the excitement of discovering that a simple quarter you found in an old jar, a drawer, or tucked away in a forgotten wallet is actually an extraordinary rarity. Imagine realizing that this everyday coin, one that most people wouldn't even bother to pick up if it fell on the ground, could be worth more than some cars, vacations, or even annual salaries. And now comes the moment that truly surprises collectors and viewers alike. Among the most remarkable examples of the 1987 quarter ever found, one extraordinary piece, flawless in appearance and marked by a rare minting error, shocked the numismatic world when it sold for an impressive $85,000. The United States quarter dollar from 1996 is one of those coins that appears common at first glance, yet contains stories, mysteries, and unexpected treasures that have turned the attention of collectors toward this otherwise everyday piece of money. The year 1996 was a busy one for the United States Mint. With the economy growing and commercial activity on the rise, the demand for quarters was high. Billions of coins circulated across the country, passing through the hands of millions of Americans. And while most of these quarters were struck normally and used countless times in daily transactions, a very small number were minted with remarkable precision, unusual characteristics, or rare errors that make them stand out in the world of numismatics today. The design of the 1996 quarter brings us back to the familiar face of George Washington on the obverse side of the coin. His portrait has remained an enduring symbol of American strength and leadership since the early 20th century. On some 1996 quarters, collectors have noticed deeply detailed features, sharper edges, and bold lettering that reveal an exceptionally strong strike. These perfect details often indicate that the coin might have been one of the early strikes from freshly prepared dies, coins that collectors call premium examples. Then there are the quarters that tell a different story, the story of error coins. A surprising number of unusual 1996 quarters have surfaced over the years, each bearing some type of unexpected feature that makes them rare. Some have doubling on the word liberty or the date, caused by a slight shift during the minting process. Others appear off-center, where a portion of the design seems to slide out of position. A few even show clipped planchets, missing edges, or unusual marks from misaligned dies. These errors don't just make the coin interesting, they make it unique, and uniqueness is what collectors value most. Turn the coin over, and you see the powerful eagle displayed on the reverse, wings spread in a pose that symbolizes readiness and confidence. Even this familiar design is not immune to anomalies. Some 1996 quarters show faint die cracks, raised lines, or missing details on the feathers or arrows. These characteristics might seem small, but in the world of collecting, they become significant clues that tell experts exactly how the coin was made, what went wrong, and why the coin deserves attention. But even without errors, the condition of a 1996 quarter can greatly influence its value. Most coins from this year were heavily used, scraped against metal surfaces, tossed into jars, dropped on sidewalks, and cycled through machines that wore down their natural shine. That's why discovering a 1996 quarter in mint state condition is something truly special. A flawless surface, dazzling luster, and no signs of circulation make these coins incredibly desirable to collectors searching for perfect examples of modern minting. Imagine finding a quarter like this tucked away in a drawer, hidden in a coin roll, or stuck between the cushions of an old couch. Imagine realizing that the small piece of metal you've overlooked for years might actually be something extraordinary, a rare find with the potential to captivate collectors and spark competitive bidding at auction. And now, the part everyone waits for. The moment when the rarity and perfection of one exceptional 1996 quarter shocked collectors and surprised the entire coin community. Among the finest examples ever discovered, a remarkable piece with outstanding condition and a rare minting anomaly reached an astonishing value of $84,000. If you want another long script for any year, any denomination, or any coin in the world, just tell me. I'll create a completely new version for you.